out libertylaughs.net. This is a website that supports grassroots patriots, and it has all kinds of stuff in it, like rings, coins, t-shirts, tank tops, both in men's and women's sizes, different sort of accessories, even patriotic stuff. Like, look at these sneakers, Don't Tread on Me sneakers. Those are pretty cool. And door knockers, and look, they even have a Trump phone case, which is really, really cool. So anytime you go to this site, you're actually supporting the grassroots patriot community. So I hope you guys will go to check out libertylaughs.net and see what they have to offer.
All of us coming back. I cannot accept this fade to black, and the thought of the wasted dreams of a nation down on its knees. Is it already over? Tickets to the circus show. If you don't, then you'll never know. Take a stand while you have the time. Drown your fear and keep hope alive. Be the change that you want to see. Be the wrench inside the machine. Is it already over? Is it already over? It's over.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Small Town Underground Wednesday Night Live. We had to have a guest cancellation this evening, so Tori Branham was supposed to be on with us tonight, and we are going to have to reschedule her interview. And so it's kind of it's almost a Providence thing. So just let me explain. So everybody knows that I get people out of jail, and got a call today from an old friend, somebody that I grew up with in school, and turns out their relative was in jail, and bad situation, and they needed help, but there was a little bit of a hold on them, so I couldn't get them out until later this evening. And so things kind of progressed where we had to kind of move the show from a guest tonight. So I contemplated even doing this show tonight, but Wednesday's a regular night show, so it just so happened that the bond had went a bit late, and that's why we're running late tonight. So I'm not really going crazy with sharing this and all that if you guys want to. But I got an inspirational phone call after that said we needed to do it. So, but I think that the Lord, we always say the Lord works in mysterious ways, and I think I needed to be where I was this evening because it's sad. I'm in my 40s, and a lot of things in this world changed, as I was growing up, right? We talk about my generation of people being the we grew up before computers. We were growing up. Obviously, computers were there, but I think I was in the fourth grade when computers kind of started coming into schools, and we kind of knew what it was like to go outside and play and do all these things outside before the internet and other things like cell phones. Cell phones, I didn't even have my first cell phone, I think, till I was like 19 years old, and I only bought it because I was working on the road at the time and had to have one, and I'll never forget that the first cell phone I ever got felt like a small brick, and I had to go up to the mall and get it, and you could only use it next to the interstate, that kind of stuff, and then, it kind of progressed from there. But, we grew up, a lot of us grew up really close, still socializing and doing things. When I was a young kid, man, I used to take a video camera everywhere with me and try to make movies and do funny stuff. And so, these friends of mine, we were really close growing up. And it's just sad to see that when they get in such kind of desperate need and trouble. And I felt like that, you never know why things happen, but when they happen for a reason. And, I couldn't leave her there, and I gave her a ride home and tried to get her into some safety. And it just kind of breaks my heart whenever, you people that you've grown up with and that you've, lived half your life with, and to see them in bad shape and to see them in situations that, it's hard to imagine. Because we all live different lives and we all get into different things, and so it kind of breaks my heart. But at the same time, I'm glad that I was there and able to help them in desperate need, because I don't know, I'm just in a weird mood tonight, and this is a call-in show, by the way. So if you like to call in, and we can talk about all kinds of stuff, and I probably won't stay on forever tonight that it's late, but. There's so many things in this world. Like, I'm raising children, and I spent a lot of my time, my wife and I, growing up, in an era where if you went out and you went to a party or you did something, you could survive that. Like, you could get into a little bit of mischief and into trouble, and all of the kids are going to do it. But there was a time where things weren't so bad, or doing certain things weren't so bad you couldn't recover from it. And in my lifetime, things changed to where you have stuff like methamphetamines and fentanyl and drugs that will literally, you use them one time, and not only do you become addicted, but it changes everything about you, and it just sucks you in. And so, at growing up as a parent, you have to have those really hard conversations about your children. Like, hey, there's no more times anymore where you can just go out and experiment with things and do things and kind of come back from it. You have to guard yourself, because the drugs and the alcohol and everything are so much more potent and so much more addictive. And now you've got fentanyl. We used to joke in the bonding world, when methamphetamines, everybody, it seemed like every house on every street was cooking meth. And we would joke about it. Like, what's it going to be in 20 years? Is it going to be a drug that you just use one time and it just kills you? And then now we have fentanyl in this country all over the place, and people still use this stuff. And I mean, people are dying every day. And we have prescription drug companies that cater to getting you hooked on some of the worst, medications, worst pills that's imaginable, that will get you hooked in every way. And so it is a different world. A lot of people say, "Oh, this is the same old thing." I don't think so, because everything gets more addictive and it gets more complex as we move into this world we're living in. And my children, they don't know what it's like without Google being there, the all-seeing, all-knowing Google. And now we're entering into this digital age of artificial intelligence, And we have to kind of remind them. I feel like my parents, when we were growing up, they didn't have air conditioning. Air conditioning was a thing that was coming in, and now it's like if you don't have air conditioning, it's something's wrong with you. It's things change so much, so they don't know what it's like to grow up without a cell phone, without all this digital tech in front of them, and here I am using it to come out on the waves, on the internet waves. But anyway, like I said, it was an experience, and I'm actually glad that I was there for that person, and to see them safely to somewhere away from the trouble. And it kind of brings back a lot of memories of being a kid, growing up with these people, because when people are adversely affected by life, and they're a different person. It's like that person, you grew up with that person, but there's a lot of change there. They're not the same person that they used to be, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of, obviously I'm thankful that I never got hooked on drugs and kind of stayed away from a lot of that stuff. And but again, we don't know everybody's circumstance. And it's real easy in a small town, or anywhere really nowadays. But I think probably upwards of a third of my graduating class I've seen get hooked on drugs, and just had a rough life. And so I'm very thankful tonight that I'm not, that I'm the other spectrum of crazy, that I'm over here talking about politics and the craziness of the world. But anyway, so yeah, that's what has been going on, and it's just a crazy world we're living in. I can't imagine, with as much craziness that goes on, if I had to go through it on drugs. I just don't know. I don't know how people can cope, and I guess that's their coping mechanism. But me, I'd probably be in a gutter somewhere. So anyway, welcome to the show this evening. So we will get Tori back on the show. We'll probably do an interview maybe next week if we can swing it. And so I'd like to hear from you guys. I got the call-in number. Oh, sweet. We've got our first call-in of the night. So I'm going to answer this, and let's get started. So, good evening, Nick. How are you doing, sir?
Good evening, sir.
Thank you
I'm
for
doing
calling
pretty
in.
good. Yeah, you're welcome, man. I've had friends same way, growing up, same thing. And what you see is really the shell of a person that you knew, and it is sad, and it's hard because you think back to those good old days like you were talking about, and all the things that you did. Yeah, you did some crazy wild stuff, but it never led you down that road to that they were on. And you see, like, there's almost like this divine divide, right?
Mm-hmm.
To where God puts you down this road in this place, took you out of those areas and those situations or whatever,
Yeah,
and put you in a position in life to where you can be that family man and be able to have a healthy cognitive life, to where you've got, you may not be rich, but you're success in your life,
right.
and people that get in those areas of their life to where, uh, drugs overtake and the addiction, it sometimes it's not even their fault.
Right.
It's a prescription that's been prescribed, and then the next thing you know, uh, their bodies, the metabolic pieces in their bodies connects with this drug that then says, "Hey, I need some more. I want some more of this." And
Yeah.
then the addiction. Some people don't know they have those qualities of addiction until they get put in the hospital because of an injury, and now they come out, on
That's true.
the drugs. And I
It's
seen
true.
it when I had a godson. My best friend, he died whenever he was 40, and it was about 13 years ago, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like more than a brother. I mean, we were just thick and thin together growing up.
Yeah.
And after he died, his son was he's 19, He went and got himself checked out because his dad died of stomach cancer,
Mm.
and he got put on OxyContin whenever he got
Mm-hmm.
out of. They found some polyps or something inside his stomach or whatever, so they did surgery on him and gave him OxyContin for the pain. And he, uh, he hid his addiction really well. Whenever I would see him, I didn't know that he was high. And I've had friends that, that I know when they're high, but he always hid behind the glasses and he always had, kind of a chipper smile and didn't seem like he was too off in the weeds of,
Right.
you know, being addicted to anything. And whenever he was about 20, he called me up and he said that, hey, I'm gonna have a baby, and all this, with the girl that he was with. And the baby was born, and then 3 months later, his grandpa found my godson in the bathroom with a needle where
Mm.
he couldn't get the opioids anymore,
Man.
from the prescription. So he went to street drugs, went to
Mm-hmm.
heroin.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so his mom, at 20 years old, his mom had to make the decision to be able to tell them to pull the plug
Yeah.
on him. It was a sad situation. But that's,
Yeah.
see, his dad never did anything like that. So it's not something he grew up in. It's not
Right.
something that was part of his MO or his life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he just fell into it by the way of prescription.
Yeah. Yeah. And the OxyContins. I mean, the family were sued for like what $20 billion, and they were pushing this stuff out like candy to be out on the street. That their whole sales pitch was to get it out there. They knew how addictive it was, and you couldn't. The government couldn't even do anything about them. I mean, they got away scot free for that crap.
I can't remember the name of the movie. It was like a Netflix movie or
Yeah.
something that came out about that, and it was
Exactly.
pretty crazy,
Yeah, they made
Uh,
billions
hot
upon.
girls with the hot
Mm-hmm.
cars, going out and just selling it to these male doctors, and just
Yes. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, they made billions of dollars off of that. There's no telling how many people died. I mean, there is a real war for your mind in this country, and drugs have a lot to do with it. There's a big
that's right.
industry on the sale of drugs, especially through the government. I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory either. It's
I don't
crazy to
know
me.
if I've ever told you this before. I know that you know that I have a son that has a disability.
Yes.
Um, since he was 6 years old, he's been on a corticosteroid that, prednisone is what has been prevalent here in the United States. Is the FDA approved,
Mm-hmm.
number one FDA approved drug, corticosteroid here in the United States. But his disability with muscular dystrophy, it affects the muscles, which prednisone puts a lot of weight gain on people. So you don't really want somebody that's losing muscle to gain weight.
Right.
And so his doctor, the specialist that we took him to in Atlanta, told us if you can get somebody that's an airline stewardess or something like that, they can go to Mexico and they can get you this drug. And I can write you a prescription for it or whatever you need. You can get up to 3 months supply, legally. And, but you can't get it into the States
Mm.
through, because you can't buy it here in the States
Right.
because FDA doesn't approve it.
Oh yeah.
So we started ordering it we found a pharmacy in the United Kingdom and we started ordering it from the United Kingdom. And it was 3 months supply,
Mm-hmm.
like clockwork. Always got it in the mail. No worries, just wound up, it was like $700 a year, and then keep upping up the doses as he got older, as he got, you know, um,
Like his body got more
the
used to
weight,
it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
as he got
Okay.
grown, he was growing into it, that it's based on your weight. So it got up to where we was paying like out of pocket $1,300 a year.
Wow. Okay.
And then in 2016, I know you say, wow, you're paying $1,600 a year out of pocket for these steroid drugs that you could probably get here with your insurance
Mm.
stuff if it was FDA approved,
Right.
like prednisone. Well, uh, they got passed in 2016. It got passed by the FDA and got approved, right?
Right.
this drug that I was buying from Masters Marketing over in the United Kingdom for $1,300 a year um, here in the United States, pharmaceutical company up in Chicago, go figure, right?
Hmm.
Uh, they put it out on the market at $89,000 a year.
Oh my God,
So if I wanted to buy these drugs now for my son, $89,000 a year.
man.
And as a matter of fact, there was only one congressperson who spoke out about this just for a little bit, just a little, like a mouse peep, like this is not right. No, 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 no. Guess
Hmm.
who it was?
Who?
Come on, you got to guess. 2016. Who's loudmouth and
I'd say that spoke out about
come
it.
on. Yeah, you know it wasn't a Republican. It was a Democrat. There,
Mm,
I narrowed it down for you.
okay. Was it Chuck
One
Schumer?
is all about anybody, right? Bernie Sanders. I'll go
Bernie
ahead and
Sanders.
tell
Oh,
you.
Bernie
Yeah,
Sanders.
yeah,
Okay.
Bernie. Yeah.
Okay.
I never liked the guy, but I mean, at
Yeah,
least he was speaking out about
I
this.
got you.
It's kind of an injustice against people. Because here's the thing. I said, son, this means that your government funding now that you get Medicaid will now have to pay for this, right? This will now have to pay $89,000 a year.
Mm,
Who is paying for
right.
my son? He's an adult now, right? So he's on, he's off my insurance. He's on the Medicare or
Right.
Medicaid, whatever it is, and that's funded by the people,
Mm-hmm. The
right?
taxpayers are
I said
paying that.
there's no way I'm going to do this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to do this. I'm not going to put this burden on the tax-paying people here in the United States. I'm not
Mm,
going to do this. I'm going to keep paying out of pocket $1,300 a year for your drug, son, because I don't think
mm,
it's right. And he goes, Dad, I don't think it's right either.
man.
So I placed another order with Masters Marketing. They sent me an email saying, this is the last prescription we're going to fill for you. Now that it is approved in the United States, we can no
Ah,
longer sell this to you.
really?
Yes.
That's kind of astounding. Wow.
Yes.
Mm. Man, we've got some
That's
we've got
the
some
control.
problems. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes, yes. The control, the drug corporations. Um, I was just reading last week. There's a finding that happened in, I think it was in 2016 as well, where a study, and I even read I know this is really nerdy. I'm kind of a nerdy guy though, so I read stuff all the time. But National Institute of Health, there's some good papers in there that you
Sure.
can read, some white papers on some good research that's been done, and why it never makes it past into the hands of the American people and being able to. It just shows you. I mean, like it's so corrupt.
Yeah.
Dandelion oil, the root
Mm-hmm.
extract of dandelion
Right.
has been shown 95% of the time to cure colon cancer.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that. You can make it in the stews, you can put it in drinks. Yeah, absolutely. It's being suppressed. I mean, look, the white papers, science has become an industry. It's no longer about doing the proper research and showing people the outcome. Science is all about what the drug companies want, and they will pay these scientists to give them the results that they're expecting. I mean, we know this. So
There's money in treatment. There's no
yeah,
money in cures.
exactly. This is the truth. And we talk about socialized medicine obviously doesn't work, but neither does what we're doing right now seem to work. So I don't know what the answers are, Nick. But
Well, I mean, I don't either because we live in a fallen world. People are corrupt.
yes,
It's not so much the systems as it is the ones that control the systems.
right.
So much so, except for the major system. The main system is controlling all the systems. So,
Yeah,
and that's the one that's controlled by the most corrupt.
yeah. I'm very hopeful that with RFK Jr. in there that we're seeing some good wins. I mean, we're seeing the mRNAs. They've cut some funding, but they're still out there. I feel like that if I feel like that
Oh,
he's
you
got
want to
his
talk about that?
heart in the right
M-
place. Sure.
mRNAs. You want to talk about that? Because I know a little bit about that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, as a father that has a child that has a disability, you're always looking for treatment, a cure, so on and so forth, right? Well, it was in 2013 that I saw some really good research that was happening. And what it was is this research was aimed at trying to cure sickle cell disease.
Mm-hmm.
If sickle cell disease could be cured, then the next step was to cure muscular dystrophy, which
Okay.
is what my son has. So I was following this close. Now, you can look up this lady and you can go back and you can research after, tomorrow or later in the week and get back with me on this because you're going to find this. Once I tell you this, you're going to go down the rabbit hole. I know you. The woman the woman that led the team that discovered this, and I know you've probably heard of CRISPR, right?
Mm-hmm.
CRISPR-Cas9.
CRISPR gene
Okay.
technology. Yes.
All right. So you're familiar with CRISPR. All right. So that was discovered by Jennifer Doudna.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever listened to any of her TED Talks or anything like that? Have you ever listened to Jennifer Doudna?
No, I know the name. I've heard the name in the community, but never watched any of her stuff.
What's interesting though is her last name is spelled Duodna. Duodna. Doudna. So that'll help you remember Duodna.
Okay.
All right. So there's a lot of good TED Talks you can watch. There's a lot of stuff that just kind of it will freak you out. But one of the biggest ones that you can look up, one of the that just like will blow your mind, is the Moonshot conference in 2015.
Okay.
And this had at this point in time, Joe Biden was still the vice president,
Okay.
and she's at this Moonshot conference. They're all around this table. Biden's at the head of the table. They're all talking about this cancer research. Moonshot is a cancer research program, right?
Okay.
And Moonshot trying to cure cancer. And Jennifer Doudna was telling Joe Biden about her research. She's speaking out, talking to people. I'm not here about the cancer, but it's like she was the one that kind of stuck out. She wasn't about the cancer. It was about the research that she was doing that could possibly lead to the cure for cancer, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't their goal. So it's kind of like, kind of, why are you there kind of type thing.
Right. Right.
But he tells her that in 5 years' time, 5 years, we're gonna. Can't remember exactly what he said. I'd have to go back and it's been many years since I watched it. Um, we're gonna make this happen in 5 years.
Okay.
That's 2015.
Hmm.
So what a lot of people don't understand about vaccination, the whole thing with COVID, and it's something that you can't see. It's a smokescreen because what they're really looking at is being able to make these therapies that can cure and or get you to a point of being normal
Mm-hmm.
to an extent.
Okay.
Um, and that's using the nanolipids. The delivery system is what they had to find.
Hmm.
That was the issue that Jennifer Doudna was having with CRISPR, is the delivery system and being able to get it into the body. Now, the way that they were going about this was that I don't know if you know how CRISPR and Cas9 work, but
Not really.
it's really you're taking a virus that takes in, it's kind of like a bandit's picture, right? It's like, oh, there's the bandit. It uses your own body's bacteria.
Okay.
And what it does is the bacteria goes in and snips the DNA portion and
Hmm.
replaces it with a healthy piece.
Okay.
It changes it. It changes the DNA. So like my son, the thing with the with muscular dystrophy is that he's missing. There's a skip in
Mm-hmm.
his genetic code, right?
Gotcha.
In his DNA, there's a skip, and what it does is that skips over the process of him being able to make dystrophin for his muscles.
Mm. Okay.
So whenever you work out, you get, your muscle gets sore and all this, and you're like, oh man, my body's hurting, my muscle's sore. It's because it's healing. That's part of its
Right.
healing. The fibers in your muscles tear,
Tear. Right.
and then the dystrophin is what helps it to heal back.
Okay.
Whereas people with muscular dystrophy, it hardens,
Mm.
and over a period of time, it starts to deteriorate, and the muscle just goes away pretty much.
Gotcha.
And so with this, they were wanting to replace that, snip it out using your own bacteria in your body. That's
Mm-hmm.
what's crazy.
Mm.
But it has to be able to have the delivery to get it there, and has to have the right sequence that's inserted so that then it works. And the way that they were doing that, what they were really testing, nobody ever really looked at it as to why were there only three companies? Why were they only three?
Right. So
And why did one of them have something that was different? Why did one say you only had to take one shot?
gotcha. All right.
Why?
I,
What was different about that one compared to the other two?
exactly.
Jansen, what
That's
was different? What was different about it? Do you know?
I don't know.
I've asked doctors this and they don't know either. But you know what? It's in those NIH papers.
Right.
National Institute of Health, those papers, it's there.
Mm.
What it is that you had a dual strand mRNA
Right.
in that one. It was dual. That's why you only had to take one, where the other
Mm.
ones were a single strand.
Wow.
The other one was a double helix.
Mm. Wow. That's wild, man. We
But
need to
in
have more information on this. We need to understand more. I don't think we're getting the full picture of all this, you know?
Well, it was, you can't, in order to do research, especially clinical trials on humans, it takes a long time to get that
Right.
approval.
Right.
They needed the approval. They needed to find the delivery system, and I think they narrowed it down to these nanolipids that we've been able to get this there. And I believe that you may be seeing a lot of what you're seeing with what's wrong with people, because there's also different batches that they use,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I know that they know the batches, they know who took what, they know, and it was research,
Right.
and they've narrowed it down because you're starting to see more of this come out now,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I'm hoping we
They
see
narrowed it
more.
down. They know.
We want more
No, you're
positive
starting to
stuff
see
coming out.
more of this medical
Mm-hmm.
type procedures with mRNA,
Right.
right?
We've allowed these major pharmaceutical companies to have the entire market, and now I believe that we're going to be opening things up a bit. You know. So absolutely.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. And I mean, they're going to make a lot of profits, but you're going to start seeing a lot of things come around from a
Well, we hope so.
pure standpoint.
I hope to see the chains broken off of our medical industry, and that we get more normal people, normal doctors, not bought and paid for, not owned by the pharmaceutical companies, come out with the right, the right way to do things. Like you said, dandelion root. Read an
Yeah.
interesting article today about the what is it? Oh, I just had it. I was just thinking about this. The hydroxychloroquine. How suppressed that was during COVID, and the fact
Oh
that
yeah.
that should tell you everything you need to know about the government, the pharmaceutical industry, wanting to try to make you believe that hydroxychloroquine is not good for you. What is the other one? I'm drawing a blank here. The horse dewormer, they call it.
Oh yeah.
What is it called?
Uh,
But you get what I'm saying. All of this stuff that's
yes.
suppressed
And I
that
can't
is
remember what
been
it's called.
proven to fight off all this stuff. So
Oh yeah. I mean, like those that
I know
drug they
somebody in
take
the comments
in
will
third world
say it.
countries.
Absolutely. Well,
In third
Nick,
world countries to be able to beat the disease that's over there. So
absolutely.
yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Nick, had another call. I got to call him back. So I appreciate you, brother, calling in tonight. That's very fascinating, and we need, as a people, we need to be able to understand more. I feel like we've been lied to so much, and you see that emerging technology and that emerging information. Ivermectin, that's it, Lisa. But you were talking about
Yeah.
2015, and then all of a sudden things just went dead, and through
He said
COVID,
5 years. He said 5 years at
right?
that table.
And it's been 10.
Yes.
So,
No,
but
he said 5 years, and that's whenever the virus happened. So
exactly the pandemic.
that's whenever, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
be sure and check out Jennifer Doudna. Look her up on YouTube. Check out some of those old TED Talks from
Okay.
2013, 2014, 2015. Look up the moonshot conference, and you'll see Joe Biden be talking. She speaks at the very end,
Right.
and listen to what he says. It'll
You
blow
got
you
it.
away.
I've
Yeah.
got it wrote
All right,
down.
man. Have a good evening.
Nick, you do the same, brother. I appreciate you, man.
All right, later, man.
All right.
Bye.
All right, guys. That was an awesome phone call by a good friend, Nick Ware. This is a call-in line. We're going to call Andy back. He's got some stuff he wants to say. And we're just going to keep this rolling for a little bit. We'll do a call-in tonight. What's on your mind? What do you got going on? What do you think about all this stuff going on with Trump and D.C.? Andy, welcome to the show,
Hey.
sir.
Hey, Roy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, I'm glad you got your store cranked up a little bit and getting rolling. I look forward to getting some merchandise there and help support the show.
Well, good, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I encourage everyone else, if they're listening, to do the same.
All right.
Yeah, we need to keep things rolling. So just real quick on the what we were talking about, the medications and whatnot. One thing that I found over the last 5 years was that there was a kind of I don't know how you call it, a rubber band effect where the doctors would not prescribe any pain medications. I don't like to say narcotics because when you're using pain medication, narcotics has a kind of a negative terminology.
Right.
It's pain medication. It's for people that are suffering, and it's necessary. And so, a lot of good people that needed the pain medication because of the overreach of the government, because of what happened, because of the narcotic firestorm that we had.
The opioid crisis.
Opioid crisis. It had a counter effect, and now so many doctors won't even give patients that need the pain medications.
Right.
You can't get any now.
So you're basically saying it's like an overcorrection, and so now, of course, I see what you're saying.
The pendulum has swung in a different direction.
Right. Well, again,
and it's gone to. Go ahead.
Well, when this free market, like we were talking about with the Oxycontins, it basically was the catalyst for this opioid crisis, and you were allowed to distribute those drugs in that way, and then it's a perfect storm for people that get hooked on these medications and these powerful things, and especially they're using them for pain, for surgeries and things, and then next thing you know, they're being sold on the street everywhere, and so it's allowed to fester until it like you're saying, it could be an overcorrection now. So it's like, well, what do we do?
It was and still is an overcorrection. And when the crisis was occurring, doctors were negligent. It wasn't the patients that were negligent by taking the medications. The doctors were negligent in over-prescribing.
Right.
And they were giving the narcotics, opioids, in mass quantities.
Mm-hmm. We know this. Yeah,
and they had no regulation. And so when they placed regulation on the doctors, that's what created the overreach. But now you can't even get one pain pill to take per day, or 2 pain pills, or 3 pain pills per day at a low to medium range dose. Mm-hmm. And not even counting a high dose. If you have a surgery or you're injured very badly and you need high dosages of these morphine type, medications, mm-hmm. You can't even get a small dose anymore. Right. And I'm proof of it. I'm living, walking proof. And I have had injuries in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and I've tried to get the doctors to prescribe me for different issues, and it's frustrating. I wanted to go after one doctor literally because I had a condition that required pain medication, and he did not acknowledge my pain. And didn't acknowledge my integrity for being there either. And I didn't want to pay him, but my insurance was already on the table. I'd already signed up for the appointment. So I couldn't tell the insurance company, don't pay this guy. He's not doing his job.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope it gets worked out in the long run. What I called about tonight was that we have a race here, a little bit of politics. We have a state Senate race.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I look forward to hearing Amy Kramer Sunday night.
Oh, yeah. That's gonna be great.
National committee woman. I'm going to be tuning in. I'm going to tell a lot of people to tune in. We need to hear what she has to say.
Absolutely.
And so we have a race where Senator Brandon Beach was called up to Washington by Donald Trump, and he's vacated his seat at the Georgia Senate. And we have a race here, special election going on in Senate 21, District 21. It's in most of Cherokee County, Georgia, and North Fulton, Georgia, which is included Milton, Georgia, Alpharetta, Georgia, and Roswell, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Three prominent, very wealthy communities.
Right.
And including the Cherokee communities that are very well off as well. I mean, I've been door knocking, canvassing for our candidate that we support, candidate Brian Will.
Okay.
And we have been busting it for him, doing the best we can. Brian is the superior candidate in this race. He has the high credentials. He's been an America First Trump guy, great reputation, military, 8 years, so many credentials, top secret intelligence in the military, 4 years on the Alpharetta City Council, where they cut over $10 million in budgeting.
Okay.
All our lives, we have heard that government spends too much money. Here comes Brian Will, candidate out of 6 candidates, willing to cut the budget of the state of Georgia, which is, by the way, out of control.
Right.
It's spend under the Gold Dome.
Mm-hmm.
There's never any regulation on spending at the Gold Dome. 400 bills got passed this year.
Yeah.
Probably none of them did not include spending.
Certainly not.
Probably
They spent $10 billion more, I believe, than last year, right? The budget was $10 billion more for Georgia than it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can fact check me on that. Yet the state governor decided to freeze funding because they weren't sure about their federal funding. And I'm like, how does that even make sense? But go ahead.
Exactly. We have major issues in Georgia that need to be addressed financially, and they say, well, we can't get to those. We can't do that. We don't have enough money to do those. But they have a over budget of whatever it was this year, $10 billion over budget, and they've given that back to the taxpayers in the form of disbursements.
Oh yes,
to
surplus.
Individual taxpayers. Yeah, surplus. And so anyway, what's frustrating to me is I'm from Cherokee County, as a lot of people may know, and we have a 6-candidate race. Mm-hmm. We have 5 other good candidates, but none of them have the credentials that Mr. Brian Will has. He is very well poised and very much ready to go into the state Senate and do one of the best jobs that we've ever had a state senator to do.
Okay.
He has a financial background, has written 4 books, two bestsellers books, and he has proven in the last 4 years to be able to cut city budgets, $10 million at the city of Alpharetta on the city council. And so he wants to go to the state of Georgia and do the same thing. He wants to cut the state budget, which the budget of Alpharetta for 1 year is equivalent to 1 day of the Georgia state budget. And so he wants to create a coalition of like-minded senators under the Gold Dome and go down there and cut wasteful spending in the state of Georgia. But we can't get in our Republican Party in Cherokee County. This is the point I'm trying to get to, and I want everybody to hear this. we can't get in Cherokee County enough Republicans
Yeah.
to help us go door knock for this man.
That's what I'm hearing as well. I'm hearing that the Democrats are like outvoting the Republicans in early voting as we speak there daily.
We exactly. We can't get enough Republicans to jump on board with his team the way Republicans are supposed to do when we have a good candidate. I don't know what they're thinking about. I don't know how they came to their conclusions. Many of the prominent Republicans that we know in Cherokee County are supporting other candidates who are not qualified, as well qualified, or everyone has a right to get behind the candidate of their choice.
Sure,
we don't argue with that. We have to make room for our fellow Republicans in these races when we have multi candidate races.
Okay, yeah.
But when we have a candidate it's a no-brainer that he has the better of the qualifications, and we can't get enough people to do anything, and they won't join our team, and we're out here. He's actually paying college kids pretty hefty salary, $20 an hour, to go canvass and door knock in neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And we have a team of about 10 guys that are and one lady that's out there every day, mm-hmm. every afternoon for the next 2 weeks. We're knocking on doors, and we're trying to get enough support for Brian. He's America first. He's Trump. He wants paper ballots. And what is more important than getting rid of Dominion in Georgia?
That's a top priority, I would believe. So, yeah. Top
priority. Mm-hmm. And none of the other candidates are even espousing to do that.
I got you. Well,
so
it's certainly contested on the Republican side, that's for sure. So
it's frustrating. We're working. We're not going to look back. We're not going to slow down. We're going to keep working until we get Brian across the finish line. Appreciate anybody's support who can help in any way. If they know anybody that wants to help us in canvassing, they pay $20 an hour plus dinner every night. Brian pays that. And we'll work with them if they want to come down here and work with us.
Okay. Well, thank you for the information, man. I appreciate it.
You got it, Roy. Thank you.
All right. Have a good evening.
You got it.
Bye. Yeah, that is, I would say, a highly contested race on the Republican side. So, absolutely. Obviously, I can't vote in that race. All I know is I've looked at some of the candidates. I know that Georgia Gun Owners has put out a survey. And there's a couple of people that pretty much scored very good percentages there. I have seen Brian will, come out. We're going to talk about income taxes for a second, because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the near future, income taxes, and we have a Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones is promising. Well, I don't know if he's promising anymore that he's going to eliminate them, but the guy he's talking about caught my eye because he had a video on how to eliminate the income taxes. And anytime I'm looking at tax elimination, that's the first thing I want to see. And he explained it very well in 12 minutes. And it was like, okay, well, you're speaking a language here, and it's not like a quid pro quo or a promise. It's like, this is how we do it. And it makes a lot of sense, but it involves balancing budgets and things like that. This is one thing that, and I said this in my blue ribbon take, a lot of the election directors and everything, all of them were complaining about not having enough money, right? When I say complaining, I'm not saying that they were sitting there just saying we don't have it. They were finding kind of fruitful ways to do things, but, I got to thinking about that statement, and they may, whether they have enough money or not, they have a budget, and they have to go by that budget, right? So every election director has a certain budget, and you got to go by it, and that's it. And so whether they have enough money or not, they are having to go by a budget and stick to it. They can't go over and under and all these things, right? Yet our state government, the budget is completely out of control. They can just ask for another $10 billion out of thin air. And, and same way with on our federal level, if you can get these election directors and give them a budget that they have to work through, and they have to come up with colorful ways to do things, why are we not holding that same standard when it comes to our state governments, when it comes to our federal government. So, you see my point. They are working within their budget. We need to get the state governments back within working within a budget, and the federal government back into working within a budget. It can be done, and that's one of the plans was, hey, we need to actually work within the budget. So it's not rocket science here. But, I wish all those candidates well down there. I've heard good things and I've heard bad things about each one of them, and fortunately, I was able to get Brian Will to come on and do primarily on taxes, because it's a huge thing, especially when you have a candidate for governor who comes out strong with we're going to do away with taxes, which we should be working on right now. And I've noticed a little bit different messaging now. He's not coming out now that he's got the Trump endorsement. He's not quite coming out and saying he's going to eliminate income taxes anymore. He's just saying we're going to work hard on income taxes, right? So, I mean, I'm not trying to call the man out, but it's like that. It seemed like a quid pro quo to me a few weeks ago, and now that he's locked in that Trump endorsement, now it's well, we can talk about taxes, So, you tell me if I'm seeing that correctly or not. So, it's a call-in show, so we'll stay on a little bit longer anyway, and feel free to call in, and I'm going to go through some of the comments now. And good to see Lisa Pierce this evening. Wonderful patriot down there. Just hello to you. Good to see you. David Naha, one of my brothers, been down that road with many people I grew up with. It's an epidemic close to home. It really is. And, I mean, to each their own, for the most part, but we've got to safeguard our children from these epidemics, right? It's not the same world that we grew up in. Things are so much more potent. Things are so much more volatile to your body, and we have these epidemics of fentanyl, methamphetamines, all of these things that once you start down that road, it's very, very hard to come back from. I've seen it. And what Andy was saying about prescription drugs, I've grown up in the bail bonding industry for a long time. I've seen so many things on this kind of the other side of the grass. I've walked through meth labs, and I've had to bounty hunt in some of the worst places I've ever seen. And, the way I felt about prescription drugs, or what you would call the narcotic drugs, and my wife will tell you, anybody will tell you, I stayed away from every bit of it. From my 20s, every surgery I've ever had, I've denied the medication when I had teeth work, and I just wouldn't take them. I would just suffer through the pain, because it's like I took it very seriously. Like, you can get addicted to this stuff, and no matter what, and I just would suffer. I remember days where I had my wisdom teeth taken out, and I probably could have took one of these medications, and it felt great, and I laid there all day just with my mouth, all messed up and just in pain. And, it's hard to do that. But again, we're at this overcorrection stage too, probably, where, I don't even know. I don't ever try to get them, and I'm sure that there's people that need them. And so it's a mess. The whole prescription drug industry is a mess. The pharmaceutical industry is a mess. We have oil-based pharmaceuticals that are cancer-causing, carcinogenic anyway. So maybe, just maybe, we can get some of this stuff worked out with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. We hope, right? But good to see you, Charles Stoker. And he says allopathic drug pushers will watch you die selling you drugs. No to drugs, yes to nutrition. And that, look, I know some folks out there are seeing this push, the mRNA, how Bill Gates is going to be spraying them on processed foods, and it's something that I haven't had a chance to really explore yet, because we're inundated with information 24/7, and it's very hard to keep up with. But kind of the things that we thought we were warned about were coming true are now coming true. So we've got another call here, so let's go ahead and answer this. And this is a wild card, Charles Stoker.
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Wanted to make a few comments.
Okay.
on your wonderful show.
I know about that, Charles. But go ahead.
Spread the truth a little bit. We're talking about drugs and painkillers. And first of all, painkillers stop your body from healing.
Right.
It stops the impulse going to your spinal cord, to your brain, to the spinal cord, to recognize that there's a problem that needs to be healed.
Okay. It's true. I've heard this.
Your spinal cord can manufacture 10 billion designer antibodies per minute. 10 billion per minute. Unfortunately, feces contains 100 billion microbes per cubic centimeter. That's a lot of work for your immune system.
Right.
So stay out of the back end, is the best I can tell you.
Right.
So,
well, we all need to be eating healthier and getting away from processed foods and trying our best not to be on medications, correct? I mean, that's just what we need to do.
You know that everybody knows the history of the drugs nowadays.
That's right.
It was started by Rockefeller, the
oil
medicine.
tycoons, yes.
Yeah, and he used as byproducts from oil refining to make them into drugs.
Yeah, I mean, everything around us is oil-based.
And they took plant material and refined it, and so powerful of effect that it's not good for you.
Right.
For instance, an aspirin, chewing a willowbark twig will relieve your pain. Taking an aspirin without water will eat a hole in your stomach.
That's right. That's right.
So this allopathic medicine is beware. Drugs are not good for you. Nutrition is.
Right.
So the other thing is that we need to go back to the basics that our society was formed on, and that is on a capitalistic. You produce more than you can use, and you get to save it and keep it. It don't get to be taxed away.
Right. Okay.
So that's the American dream. That's what our country was founded on. Not taxation every which way that they can figure out how to do it.
Right.
For instance, the splosh taxes are special elections where only school teachers vote, pretty much. And that, of course, most of the splosh taxes benefit the schools, so they vote yes on all the splosh taxes.
Right.
So,
yeah, the whole
we could save a lot
issue.
of money if we had the any taxation questions come up on presidential elections. That's when most of the people are voting.
Well, sure, that's exactly why they hold special elections for the taxes on an off-season, off-year where nobody's paying attention and you only get 15 voters to come out and vote for it. I mean, we've got some serious issues with taxes. I mean, it's serious issues that we're facing.
Yeah.
And we have a state government right now where I can't get over this. I have a state government right now where the musical chairs are getting ready to change, and we have these elected candidates that are out here saying, vote for me, and I'm going to eliminate the income tax. Yet in every county right now, just about every county, they're fixing to hold tax meetings because they're going to go up on your property taxes. They're going to have to go up on an income tax. Magically now this year, it's not just one county, but just about every county that I hear about is going to float a floss tax to offset a property tax. And it's like, how can you sit there on one hand and talk about eliminating a tax while your counties are going up higher on taxes? It is beyond me. What is going on here?
all taxes are bad taxes,
Yeah.
and Trump's got the right idea. Tariffs, we can institute tariffs on our local level. You just have to use your imagination.
There's a lot of
Uh,
things we could do.
a lot of things we can do.
But
Uh, and these candidates um, that Trump endorsed, Burt Jones, what a joke he is. I mean, he
well,
had an opportunity to change our election integrity to so it actually works for the people, so we don't have fraudulent elections. He's done nothing.
no,
Done
this
nothing.
they've not done anything. They really haven't. I mean, it's not even being critical. It's like all of the things that we know, all of the information that is dropping from this White House, this administration, they're declassifying all of these, the Russia hoax, the 2020 election, and it's crickets for most of these people. They're not saying a word, but we've been called crazy for year after year by exposing the cheat. And now it's like you're asking us to vote for you, and you're still ignoring us. You're still in this state going around pretending like Georgia's the number one state to have elections in. And it's almost maddening to watch this and to think, like, do they think that we're just this stupid? You know, it's insulting, really.
They are
I
insulting.
mean, I went through an entire blue ribbon study where Dominion was hardly, all right, was hardly talked about. Knowing that that is a huge pressure cooker, you know, talking about Dominion voting systems, but everybody's just kind of like, well, we're just trying to figure this out. And I'm like, if it was any clearer, it would have slapped you in the face what we need to do.
That's it.
I don't.
Well,
I'm telling you, I don't understand it. Is it? Whew. Anyway,
let me ask you a question, Mr. Hambrick. Do you know why Atlanta is the favorite retirement place, not the favorite playing place, but the favorite retirement place for National Football League players?
tell me why.
Because Atlanta is the number one pedophilia in America.
Oh,
Pedophilia city in America.
well.
Shame on them football players.
Okay. I didn't know where you were going with that one, but yeah, it's certainly plausible, I guess. I don't know. I mean, Atlanta is a huge hub. We've already been ignored when our state senator was showing airplanes that were taking in and bringing out, illegal immigrants through NGOs. And, I mean, God only knows what is going on. We have Hollywood now. Hollywood is now taking over Atlanta and eating up a huge chunk of tax-free abatements all over this state. And people still think that the magic is done in California when it's really right down here in the big old ATL. So
that reminds me of a time Jeff Mullis got the airlines $1 million tax cut, and how they spent that $1 million instead of rebating it to the customer, the flying public, they gave their executives $1 million Christmas bonus.
right, instead of yeah. Well, I think it's going to be interesting because Jeff Mullis was one of the key senators that got this leadership bill passed for Brian Kemp and co. And so now you have the Attorney General of the state that is bringing a federal lawsuit onto the lieutenant governor and co. about this leadership bill because citing it's very unfair how they can write millions of dollars off. And I have this weird theory, and I'll run it by you, that maybe all of this is just a big ploy because the Republican governor and company, they know how much power that they've had. They've been able to rig this system where they get millions upon millions of dollars, and maybe Chris Carr is in on it because they're going to shut this thing down in the fear that if a Democrat should take over, that they'll take that power away. You think about that? What do you think about that?
Well, it's just theatrics. As long as Kemp controls the Dominion machines, no Democrat's going to be elected.
Okay.
And Chris Carr is a subservient to Brian Kemp, as everybody else is.
Right.
Brad Ratzenberger, and all of them.
Well, it just makes you wonder how Chris Carr is able to bring this federal lawsuit like this without the blessings of the governor. So I just wonder. I mean, only time will tell, but it'll be
He's not
real.
done any-
It'll be
he's
real
not done
telling
any-
to me if they end up doing away with this leadership committee by the next election, and then all of a sudden no other governor can do what they've been able to accomplish. You know.
Well, if there's there will be a new regime change, and hopefully it will not be either Carr or Burt Jones. It'll be somebody like David Cross or Angel Rosario. Or Patrick.
Well, do
Will be
you
our
think the
governor.
state of Georgia is going to allow that? I highly doubt it. So.
Well, not if we have we don't have paper ballots. There'll be a
Well,
good chance.
that's one thing.
But-
One takeaway was every election director was asked what would they do if they had to use paper ballots, and they reluctantly said, "Well, if we had to do it, we could do it, and we will." So that could be a precursor. You know, we have the executive order floating out there. At some point, the rubber's going to meet the road on this. So we hope it's in enough time, right? We do.
Well,
So.
it's the primary that counts, not the general election. Kemp may acquiesce and allow it to happen in the general election, but during the primary, he wants either Carr or Jones, and it doesn't matter either one.
Yeah, and that the Dooley character, that's a hell no for me. No, there's absolutely no way that I'm going to vote for this Dooley character. This is insulting that the governor would be pushing Dooley, especially now what we know about him being tied to his father, who was tied to this school bill that everybody was upset about. There's just no way. I mean, they're not even hiding it anymore. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris, Mike Collins, chief of staff, spit in the face of
Oh yeah, that's right.
Arnline,
Yeah.
and
That's rough. I think Mike Collins should address that, to be honest with you. You know, he's got a pretty good voting record. Obviously, he's trying to take the race by storm, but you know, that's. I mean, something needs to be done about that. The campaign manager spitting in Sam Carline's face. When I found that out, I was pretty upset about that. That makes me very angry. That
he's
Yeah.
a chief of staff,
yeah,
but he's a campaign manager.
not cool, man, not cool.
Not cool at all. And these people are arrogant,
Yeah,
and unfortunately, for them, or fortunately for them, Sam Carline is not a violent man, but there are people that if they did that too, they would not. It would not be a pleasant ending for them.
yeah. Well, they're just jealous because if you had a Sam Carline in it running the state, a lot of things would get fixed, and they're jealous because they're not half the man that Sam Carline is. So you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've asked Phil Searcy and Sam Carline to run for Secretary of State or Lieutenant Governor or Governor or anything.
Now wait a minute. They're not that stupid either. Okay.
They're trustworthy, but without paper ballots, you know, we're wasting our money, and our time.
Yeah, we are. But you know, the Republicans are doing it to themselves. I mean, they're really doing it to themselves. They created these enemies, and they drew this line in the sand. And you know, the Republican Party in of itself is largely they're slapping their own self in the face, right? Instead of trying to listen to the people or try to sit down and compromise and try to sit down, at least listen and pretend, they're slapping themselves in the face. So, you know, they deserve what they get. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not holding my nose anymore. I'm not voting for somebody because it's a party thing and all that crap. I don't care. I've got nothing to lose here, right? We've got everything to lose in this state, and it's clear that the Republicans that are running this state are running it as a corporation with no community, no humans in mind, to be honest with you. So who cares? I mean, you're slapping yourself in the own face.
That's a big step. Not voting for the lesser of two evils. Our vote is very powerful.
That's
and
right.
We should wield it powerfully and not just willy nilly.
I agree.
And,
especially if you're voting on a Dominion voting system. So, all right, Charles. we're going to have to cut it off there. But listen, I
All right, bud.
appreciate you.
God bless you, and keep up the good work. And you know what? Governor Roy Hambrick sounds like a good name for you.
I think Hades would have to freeze over before that would ever be a possibility. But thank you for the vote of confidence. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye. You know, Charles has a point. It's easy to get on here and gripe and complain about all of these things going on, and put your, people put your money where your mouth is, right? Yeah, we should be. I should be running for something, right? I should be out there running for something and doing something, making a change. But it's so hard to do that and do it realistically when you're working and raising a family, and then you watch these positions get taken over by multimillionaires and people that don't have to worry about money. And that's just this is the way it is. The system is not designed. The system is not designed to run right. It's not designed to run like a well-oiled machine. It's designed to run like an establishment corporatocracy. It's made for people to come into the fold and come into the game, and you've got to play the game to move up. And it's a huge problem, and I don't think it's going anywhere. But, in an alternate reality, I would love to run for a position, go in, find the best and the brightest people to fix these things and not ever take a dime from it. Not do things right and set it up so it's so easy and transparent. The next person comes in and it's the same thing, right? But we don't have a system like that. I don't know if you've seen Mark Swanson in Floyd County at one of their last meetings on a tax raise, question them using their own law, using the law, and they had to stop that meeting and go back and research, and they had to pretty much admit that they've been doing it wrong for the last 20 or so years. Now that is powerful. One man that's able to stop these people dead in their tracks and show them that they are not even abiding by the law, and that's how lax we've gotten. And it's just amazing to watch people like Mark just continue to challenge the system. And the man doesn't want anything more than for things to be right. I'm sick and tired of people always, oh, you're a far right, you're one of those extremists, you're fringe, all this crap that we hear. I am not asking for anything but to do it right. That's it. No matter what we're doing, do it right. We don't need the favors and, oh, you're my best friend, and then you got to go do. We want to do what's right. That's it. The power back to the people. The system is not designed like that. And we beat our head up against the wall. But I'm not far right anything. I'm not a fringe anything. I'm like, hey, is it constitutional? Is it what we need to do right now? Is this legal? Is it, No, I don't want kickbacks, and I don't want to do things that only benefit me and then hurt the community. But again, I could go into so many details about like Section 8 housing and how all these government grants and funds and everything get used as a quid pro quo, and how your elected officials on the county level, they're not in control. They're being told what to do from higher ups and NGOs and people who aren't even elected. How do you think all of these floss taxes are coming and hitting every county at the exact same time? You think that's just coincidental? You think just one commissioner thought about that and thought, whoa, we can do a floss tax? No. This is happening in every county, just like every county tax raise. It's happening because that's the plan. That's what they're being told to do, okay? There is no free thinking, and God help you if you are an elected official and you vote the opposite way of the state, because the state's going to come back and threaten you with lawsuits, jail time, anything else, and it puts them in a bind. And nobody wants to deal with this crap because they're just caught in the middle, right? We have very few people that will stand up and do the right thing and take that criticism and take those shots because of a system that is solely designed for them to stay in their lane and do exactly what they're being told to do. So, anyway, all right, Noreen Canner, good to see you tonight, Noreen, my hero. She says, anyone going to Blue Ridge to see Amy Thursday night? So this is a good segue into this before we get ready to wrap it up. But Amy Kremer, your RNC committee woman, wants to hear from you. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up real quick if you haven't seen it. She is going around doing, and let me get this up a little bit. So I am super excited about this Sunday night, but she is doing a statewide listening tour in town halls all over Georgia. And this, if you haven't seen this yet, here it is, what to expect. She's going to give you updates, news on the Chairman Watley, what's going on there. Let's see, plans for 2026, how you can get involved, open discussion. She's there to listen. She's there to listen and hear you. You can send questions in. The virtual town hall is going to be us on Sunday night. But let's see, on the 11th, which was 2 days ago, she was in South Georgia, Valdosta. She's going to, on the 12th, yesterday, she was in Byron. Today she was in Marietta, and tomorrow she will be in Ellijay. So she's going around the state because she wants to hear from us, the peasants, right? Your questions, your concerns, all of these things. And she's going to compile them up because they have an RNC committee meeting, I think, next week. And then Sunday night here on Small Town Underground, she is going to be live in studio with me. Antonio Jones is going to help host it. And we're going to sit down and we're going to let her update us on everything that she's heard. So Amy Kremer is a person that I've gotten to know over the last few months that seems to really care about what's going on in this state and seems to be a fighter for the people. And she is out there doing her level best to hear from everybody, to questions, concerns, because it really matters. And again, that is your open avenue to talk to her. And, of course, Sunday night will be another open avenue that we'll be able to take comments and really get down into the meat and potatoes, because there's a lot of people that has just kind of shut themselves off. They're not listening. They're not accepting phone calls. They're not accepting questions. They just kind of turn the other cheek and just let that be that. Well, Amy is out there, and she is hearing from the people. So we're going to welcome her Sunday night here at 8 p.m. So, yes, please come and feel free to share it and be a part of the live stream. It'll probably be a 2-hour live stream. We're not going to mess around. We're going to get right down to it and get to as many comments and questions as we can. So thank you for that. So tomorrow night she'll be over in Blue Ridge in Ellijay. So Jeff Conley, good to have you tonight. He says, trust the plan. And I know we should trust the plan, right? Man, sometimes it's hard to trust the plan. But, I trust it as God's plan, because Lord only knows what's going to come at us next. As the years have progressed and through COVID and growing up and getting more and more involved, we're so inundated. I don't even know what the plan is any longer, what to trust, because every day it seems to change. But, obviously it's not in our control. And I'm actually grateful for that. That's not in our control. We just do what we can do what we need to do, find a place to fit in as we move through this so-called plan. So Noreen says, pure blood here, no jab for me. I am a pure blood as well. My whole family is pure blood. I completely freaked out when I found out my father got the first shot. And I said, nope. I was out on the road, and I couldn't believe that they did it. But, they did do it. They never went back after I got done with them and got anything else. But pure blood here. I would have walked out of any job, and even the company that hired me during my interview process. And this was right before, because remember now, COVID was COVID until the day that Russia stepped over the Ukraine border, and all of a sudden COVID just went away, and then it became Ukraine-Russia, right? So we need to thank Ukraine and Russia, because they cured COVID, right? They stopped the epidemic from happening. Don't forget that. But right before that, we were getting company emails stating that they were not sure whether we were going to have to be mandatorily vaccinated. So upon my interview, I stated very plainly to the people that should the company decide to make COVID or the vaccines mandatory, they would have to fire me because I would not take a shot. And I was dead set and explained to them before I was hired that I would either get fired or walk out of that facility and not look back, because no one is going to mandatorily make me take a vaccine. And luckily, thankful for Russia and Ukraine, they stopped the epidemic. So, and there's Lisa with ivermectin. Yes, it's a shame. Hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin. There was a lot of really good, I don't even call them medications, but really good things of that nature that were highly suppressed and intentionally hidden from the public and made hard to get, that we now know have so many health benefits. It's insane to me what we lived through with COVID. What a sham pandemic, just a disgrace for humankind. It's beyond words. It's still a little crazy, because this time last year, we're talking about COVID, you get a community strike, for God's sakes, we remember this. But things have changed now, so we're a little bit able to talk about it, and now we know, of course, like we didn't know, it's a pandemic. But how crazy was all of that we went through? I mean, don't ever forget the tyranny that we were under during that time is absolutely incredibly insane. And no, we the people will not go through that again. So she said, Maureen says you should be on the Medicare and drug prices we have to pay. It's ivermectin. Yeah, right. So we have a big problem with Medicare. I mean, every institution we have in this nation is crumbling, and I'm hoping, like all of us, that on this Trump administration, that we're riding this ship, right? I'm a little uncomfortable with some things, and that's happening and has happened, but ultimately we are in a much better place. And with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and I believe the progress that he's trying to make, I really believe that we're on the up and up, right? Couldn't be more proud to have this administration, and even with all of its flaws. And no, we're not going to ignore everything. We're not going to just praise Trump like he's a messiah, okay? But we're still in a much better place right now than we would be under Kamala or anybody else. So, William Blake McMillan, good to see you from Savannah, Georgia. Thank you, sir, for being here. Noreen says, Trump putting National Guard in D.C. is good, makes D.C. safe again, but this is going to happen in other cities, or will it lead to martial law like people are saying? But Trump is always 10 steps ahead and knows what he's doing. So for lack of time, I will say this. I follow a lot of libertarians, obviously, but this whole ordeal, and I want to say first that I'm reluctantly on board with what Trump is doing in D.C. because what do you do when we're so far out of balance? And what I mean by that is I love the Constitution. It's real easy for me to stand up here and talk about the Constitution, but the problem is we are so far removed from the Constitution. We're so far removed from it, way off in the left field, that unfortunately you can't just use the Constitution to get it back. The omelet breaking an egg thing. So it's uncomfortable to me to see that we're going to be putting troops in D.C. and possibly in other cities, right? But again, we are so far removed from the cities and how deteriorated they've become. What do we do here? Because this wasn't the Republicans that put us in this shape. It's the Democrats. It's the socialists, the Marxists that's done this. So, yeah, is it uncomfortable? It absolutely is. But is it possibly necessary? Absolutely. It's probably necessary, right? We know that the D.C., the police chief got caught fudging the numbers, and we know it's very dangerous. And we go down to Atlanta, in our own city, and right across the street in the Capitol, there's homeless everywhere. There's an epidemic going on. So do we just let these cities fall, or do we do something to pick them back up to fix what these broken systems? So again, but I will want to stress this, and one of the things that makes it so uncomfortable is that what Donald Trump is doing and what he's able to do right now, okay? You have to remember, take Donald Trump out of the situation. If this were Joe Biden or Barack Obama doing this, would you still feel the same way? Okay? It's very important that you take out and just look at things objectively, because had this been Kamala Harris in charge and she were going to do this, would we as conservatives and Republicans be cheering this on, right? Would we honestly, or would we be using this as another excuse to just go viral and talk about how bad it is? You know, because whatever Donald Trump does now, you have to remember the powers that he's given will be bestowed on the next president that takes over. Now, whether that be Republican or Democrat, or maybe this is on the up and up and we'll get a J.D. Vance or another Republican that's going to continue this. But the balance of power here, you have to remember, whatever we do now is going to be able to be done with the next president. So we have to remember that as we go through. And so I hope I made myself clear. I'm not against it. I'm reluctantly for it, because what do? If we just sat on our hands and let the cities fall, it'd be no different than me just shutting up and shutting this off. So again, it's a tough situation to be, but the Democrats, the socialists, the Marxists have put us here. We've allowed ourselves to be in this position where we've allowed crime to become so rampant and our police forces to be so weak. You know, it's a tough situation, but ultimately I am faithful at the moment that Donald Trump is going to do exactly what he needs to do, and I am faithful that he's 10 steps ahead, because I mean, he's already proven it. He went to LA, he did the same thing, pulled the troops back, you know. But again, what is it going to be in 4, 6, 7 years whenever another pandemic comes, and this time the federal government is using troops on people like me and putting me in jail to shut me up because they don't like what I got to say? So think about it, folks. Lisa says, okay, she's replying, maybe it'll spill over to Georgia and the rest of the states. Yeah, like again, I am watching and monitoring, but people have sounded the alarm, and when you listen to the people, it makes a lot of sense too, right? We want this to be successful. We believe in Donald Trump and America first, so we just got to be careful, man. We got to be careful with what we do. So, and Noreen says, what do you expect with all those rhinos down there? Nobody cares about we the people, and they don't. She means Georgia, of course. I mean, they're proving that daily, you know. And she also ask if he will be a part of the Freedom Caucus. Brian will. I had a little conversation with Brian about that. I think he's a strong candidate, but again, you know, you vote your conscience in the primary, so that would be a good question for somebody to ask Brian. So Nick Ware has posted the research on opioid alternatives without the addiction. We thank you for that. And Noreen says you pay for people to door knock now because the Democrats do it. You know, that's a tough cookie here. The Democrats have spent years using other people's money to further their party, right? With USAID, we all know that Act Blue is insanely corrupt, and we know that the protests being planned, all of this is, you know, they use these back page want ads to pay people to be there and pay people to do things. We know this. We're up against a horrible machine with money, and as Republicans, we don't have that kind of money, and we don't have that kind of ill morality, right? We're not out here, you know, paying people to do all this stuff. So there's a big gap in the money, and of course, the ones at the top have been able to create a money pit for themselves, and the rest of us, well, we're just out here in the wind, right? If you're not in that chosen circle, you might as well take a hike. So, Mike Pons, good to see you, sir. Noreen says, according to Colton, He told me at rate they are cutting tax. It will take 50 years to get rid of state tax. Yeah, and that's also what your lieutenant governor was bragging about too, fighting income tax. Right? It's pretty simple to me how to cut them. But again, we're going to have to go through this circus with everybody. So we'll be looking at that very soon with some legislators. So. Jan Ellis Weaver, great to see you tonight, Jan. She says they are drunk on the money. Our taxes are their drug. I can't agree more. They are completely. It's all about the money. You always follow the money. You know, this is why a lot of people are like, man, you should be charging for your camp out. I'm not charging for the camp out. I want it to be free. All right, we're gonna get some sponsors that's gonna help us with all the stuff, and we're gonna make sure that everybody. You know, we're going to ask for donations, and we're going to have a little small town underground fundraiser. But I'm not asking a dime for anybody to come to it, because this is for the people. It's about the people. And I am so sick and tired of money. I wouldn't even ask for money if we didn't need the money just to keep things afloat here. So, but yeah, they're drunk on the money for sure. Richard Schroeder, good to see you, Richard. He says, thank you for attending the Blue Ribbon Election Committee meeting. Let's concentrate on the next BREC meeting next month and fill the place up. That's a good idea, Richard. I'll get with you and see if I'm off work for that. So Nick says, oh, yeah, Nick's replying. Jan Weaver says, Gates is trying any way he can to get rid of the useless eaters like us. God himself must protect us from the likes of Gates. No truer statement has been made. In fact, Jan, I'm going to send you something probably this evening that you need to check out. So Dave Adams dropped about a 21-minute bombshell this morning, and I was so taken by it. I wanted to just do an entire live stream on just that video, because he lays it out blatantly obvious and right to the point about Gates and the mRNA spraying the food, and how the depopulation, folks, I'm not going to go into a rant, but the depopulation is the bottom line, okay? When you go into the data centers, you go into the technology, artificial intelligence, you go into the fact that our birth rate's down. Look, all of these things point to depopulation. And every white paper and every World Economic Forum, that's the first thing they'll tell you is there's too many people in this world, they got to depopulate. They are not creating a world for humans to live freely. Okay, that's the bottom line, and it's just something that you need to know. It's something that you need to be prepared for, because we are already in the beginning stages of this technocratic revolution. It's just the same thing as the Industrial Revolution, and I've already pointed it out in a previous video that the salesman for this that's going around to all the highfaluters in our society is telling you this. He showed it on a screen. Guys, this is the AI revolution. It's here. They are making no bones about this, and it's a world that doesn't include us in it, okay? It's just a blatant, obvious truth that you need to understand, is that the future is being planned without you in it. That's all there is to it, okay? But thank you for that comment, Jan. Nick Ware, he posted the Jennifer Dunda video. I will definitely check that out, Nick. Jeff Edwards, good to see you, says we need to start giving people medicine to cure their problem and not medicine just to cure the symptoms. That's a big amen. We need to get back to more homeopathic things. We need to get back to better nutrition. You know, our family, we started making bread now. We've started making our own bread. At first, it was a little kind of weird, and we were getting to figure out how to do it, and then my wife got really good at it, and now I don't want to eat any other bread. Like, of course, I think she still makes the best cornbread in the world, but again, we're making our own bread. At first, it was a little, we had to go out and buy a mixer and do all these things, and it was kind of tedious. But now it's common. It's as common as changing the trash out. Just little things like that, making your own bread and getting away from all this processed bread. And I'm one to talk. I'm still eating processed foods, but we have to make these choices in the future. Are you going to eat the crap that they're spraying mRNA, or are you going to decide to get healthy, right? Because that's what's going to separate us into the future is what we put in our bodies. So, absolutely. Jan says taxes are taxes is theft. Amen to that. They are. There's no plainer way to put it. It's theft, And we've got to do something, okay? I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of these huge government budgets being overspent. I'm tired of the stigma behind it. Well, you're not an American if you ain't paying tax. Look, we've gotten way past that. We can't even afford housing any longer, okay? We've got to do something. And our property taxes are absolutely insane, a total sin tax. Everybody knows it, but nobody wants to do anything about it. Well, I think we the people need to figure this thing out, all right? So, yeah, absolutely. And Doreen says, vote no in Hall County or no new or renewals of any sort. So, absolutely. I hope we have some counties out there that are willing to stand up, because most of your counties are going to fold. And most of your counties, gosh, we could go on forever. Most of your counties they've already been given the talking points. They've already been told what to say and told what to do. And then the red button is the fact that once you get on them so much, then they're like, look, we can't do anything, or they're gonna put me in jail if we don't sign this, or they're gonna bring lawfare down on me. So they've already got the playbook for this. And William McMillan says they don't care what we think. It will require forcefully removing these criminals. And you may be right. I mean, it's seeming like that's a plausible future. And I hate to say that, but again, what are we supposed to do? I don't understand it. It may come down to that. We've been told that for years. And I was hopeful for a while, but again, looking into this next election in 26, it's just like, wow, man, really? It just doesn't look that good to me. But Lisa says, raising taxes on land that has no clean drinking water. Our land that we pay for, they poisoned it. We're paying to have it poisoned. It's beyond crazy. So you're obviously mentioning the PFAS that we could go into. And, yeah, it's just the plasticizers and everything in the water. What do they call them? Forever chemicals in the water. It's, gosh, it's almost too much sometimes. So Lisa says, we've been told that it will cost at least $1 million per acre to clean it up, and there's no guarantee that they can get it all. Yeah, absolutely. Jan Weaver says, Carr is a chicken. Their phone numbers aren't even published. He definitely doesn't want to hear from any of us. Yeah, I'm gonna ride my little theory for a while. I just think that they're all in on it. I think that they smell blood in the water, and that this might be a deceptive tool to take away that leadership committee well after everybody's gotten all their money, and that they take that power away from the next governor. We'll see. I could be just tinfoil hat in that, but I find it very interesting that there's a federal lawsuit on a law that was passed here in the state that gives them this kind of power, and I'm like, well, you guys all work together. Maybe you're going to try to take this power away when everybody slips off into the ether, so that nobody else can have this power. So Lisa says, we have data centers. The generators are water cooled. Where will that water go? What will be introduced into our water next? And the water evaporates. But we're going to save that one for the data center show. So we go down through here. Let's see. Lisa said he'll roll up on the wrong one someday, which was probably about this campaign manager of Collins. And yeah, it's pretty bad. That's the guy. Like I would be trying to do some PR for that, because that alone just pisses me off. To know that somebody like Sam Carnline was he spat in his face like that. That really sucks. And I'm sure this guy's probably on cloud nine. I don't know him. I've done a little bit looking into it, and he probably thinks he's better than everybody else, and that we're just a bunch of peons and whatnot. But Jan says, Sam Carnline is an honorable and intelligent man, and you know what? Sam Carnline should be running the state. If Sam Carnline was running the state, I guarantee you things would be different, and they would be much, much better. Whether you were a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, you name it, things would be so much better. They're jealous of people like Sam Carnline. They're jealous that people have the guts to stand up to them and to shove the right thing in their faces. And that's why they run from people and run like little chickens. because they don't want to hear it, because they know that people like Sam Carline are right, and that they're only trying to do things right for this state. And that's why they spit in their face. What a coward to spit in your face, you know. Whoever that guy is, whatever his name is, you're a coward. You're a coward for try that somewhere else, spitting in somebody's face one day. Like you said, you're gonna roll up on the wrong one and spit in somebody's face, and yeah, we'll see about that. In fact, I applaud Sam for taking it like he took it. I applaud Sam for not decking that guy out and standing there and taking it, because now he's going to hurt Mike Collins regardless, because this cat's got him on his leader of his whatever. And he's going to hurt him, because everybody's going to find out what kind of piece of junk he is for spitting in Sam's face. So, anyway. Oh, God, that pisses me off. Okay. Jeff Edwards, political parties are taking no action. Yeah, well, are you surprised? I mean, we went through an entire GOP session begging to take action, begging for people that were like standing up with their hands held up and going, I'm ready to take action. I'm ready to do something. And the GOP said, whoop, and smashed it and fly swatted it. And now they got ankle biter Dooley out there talking about how good data centers are and saying, we're just smarter politically. We would do a better job. You know, I mean, it's clown world. It's clown world. So what do you expect from these people? Let's see. Lorraine says politics is a blood sport, not for the weak of heart. Yeah, it's true, and it shouldn't be that way. You should. Man, I could go on forever. You should be able to sit down at a table with Republicans and Democrats and independents, libertarians, and say it's like a math problem. There's 2 + 2 = 4, right? Not the Barack Obama crap. They should be able to sit down and look at a problem and then work it out and say, this is the best solution or the only solution, right? Like, this is what we need to do. And we are incapable of doing that. It is a blood sport filled with corruption, filled with nepotism, filled with everything that goes against the ethos of community and well-being and happiness and liberty. Let's just say what it is. That's what it is, and in Georgia especially, right? It's insane that we come over here every evening, every week, and we have to fight against our own Republicans because they're so bad. They're so bad that we can't even. The Democrats are sitting there with they're just propped up on a table watching this, going, "My God, man, these people are their own clowns," and we are. So, Noreen said Mark was in Gainesville Tuesday night. Great information, and yes, I got the video. I have not posted it yet. I haven't even got to watch it yet, but yeah, Mark's great. So, all right, here. I'm going to have to wrap it up, guys. Mark Swanson, he's one of my heroes. Let's see. So there's a lot of stuff about Mark in here. We love Mark. And let's see. Denise Penley Owen, she said, yes, Noreen Cannon, I will be in Blue Ridge tomorrow night. We actually have a good half a dozen or more from Pickens going. Way to go, Denise. Get your voice out there, get it heard. So, Blake Ellsbury, good to see you. Good evening to you, sir. We appreciate everything you do. And, man, let's see here. Jeff says, when it comes to politicians, nobody's perfect. You just had to pick the lesser evil. And it's true. You know, we're real bad about somebody can do 10 things right, but they do one thing wrong, and we want to write them off completely, right? So, yes, that's on us. All right. Sometimes we're going to have to, when I say lesser of two evils, there's a clear line between somebody, you know, that would, there's a clear line between irredeemable and a person that may not be perfect, right? And we want perfect. We had this standard set sort of with the Freedom Caucus, right? We have Colton Moore, and we have Charlize Byrd, and we have Noel Kahana, and they're all three. They're like, that's the standard, right? But we also got to realize that not everybody's got those kahunas to stand up. Not everybody's got it in them. Well, if we can get somebody that's got a lot of that in them and a little bit of not in them, well, that's better than, you know, an irredeemable. So yeah, we're gonna have to show some grace, I believe, a little bit of grace as we move forward. And I think the flip side to that is that these people are going to have to come down to our level and talk to the peasants, right? Every time I see an event, it's always the highfaluters, or it's always the, oh, I'm over here in Chastity Ballroom and we're sipping wine and we're having a great evening. You know, no, you come down here to the peasant level, talk to us. Like be man enough and woman enough to come and talk to us a little bit. You know, let's talk about some real stuff, not because we're kicking back and we're all full of ourselves, right? Anyway, so yeah, Dave Adams. Dave Adams is awesome, and he films in Maggot, Georgia. Love it, love it, love it. Richard says, bring Ted Nugent to the campground. Believe me, if I could get Ted Nugent to the campground, I would. So it's hard enough. I thought for a second I could get Thomas Massey, but I seriously doubt I'm going to get him to come down. But nonetheless, we're going to have great people. So Jan says, it all comes down to the enemy of our mortal souls trying to pervert and destroy God's creation. We are imago Dei, and he hates us the most. Of course he is trying to kill all of us off. Well said. Absolutely well said. Lisa says, have you ever seen a bow-legged chicken run? Raffensperger is a perfect example. He certainly is. So, Blake says, we treat our elected officials like they are celebrities instead of employees, and both parties do it. We need true servant leadership. Well said, my friend. Well said. Anyway, like I said, good Lord, I went on for a long time. I did not expect to do that. I appreciate everybody that hung out here with me, especially starting so late. Just a laid-back night. Good callers, good comments. Be ready for Sunday night. Tell all your friends about it. Amy Kremer will be here in studio, and she wants to hear from you. It's going to be amazing. We got a lot of good stuff continue to come up. Keep track of the Patriot Campout. It's going full force. We're getting more and more people added. It's going to be a great, great event. So I want you to come out and have a great time with us. The first one was amazing. This one's going to be even better. So, but appreciate it, guys. You guys, everybody, I pray for y'all. Y'all continue to pray for me. Pray that God continues to hold us in His arms, in His hands, and that we continue to constantly search for the path of truth and righteousness, and that we just stay on track no matter what happens. That's what it's all about. And pray for our country and our presidents, and God, everything needs prayer. So, but I'm out of here. I will see you soon. Hey everybody, Small Town Underground here, and I'd like for you to check out LibertyLaughs.net. This is a website that supports grassroots patriots, and it has all kinds of stuff in it, like rings, coins, t-shirts, tank tops, both in men's and women's sizes, different sort of accessories, even patriotic stuff. Like, look at these sneakers. Don't tread on me sneakers. Those are pretty cool. And door knockers. And look, they even have a Trump phone case, which is really, really cool. So anytime you go to this site, you're actually supporting the grassroots patriot community. So I hope you guys will go to check out LibertyLaughs.net and see what they have to offer.